Greetings, royal family. I'm back. And so is Lanithia Leaks. So, Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 12, Episode 3, Return of the NeNe. So, let's just get into some things. Thank you for clicking on my video. If this is the first time you are here, my name is Royal B. And we're the royal family. So, if you are a returning royal family member, welcome. Hello. You know how this thing goes. Let's get right into it. So, episode 3, NeNe's Return. I know that's not the name of the episode. Opens up with Eva and Cynthia. Again, I'm still a little confused how they've gotten so close. But at this point, we're in episode 3. It doesn't matter. So, Cynthia is accompanying Eva to go house shopping. So Eva is, she's got to move out of her 2-bedroom condo. She needs to move abruptly because she says that she is trying to steer clear of her ex. She calls him the donor, which is her first child's father. So this is what I didn't understand though, right? You are trying to stay away from him. And you don't want him to know where you live, but you are on a TV show showcasing the area in which you might be moving to. I don't know, maybe I'm looking too much into it. Anyway, she's really concerned about her security and her privacy, and that's nothing to take lightly. Like, I know that's something that you should take seriously, but you have to do that on TV? Anyway, so Eva says that she regrets not getting close with Cynthia earlier. They bring up NeNe. At this point, I think this was like the second time that NeNe's name was mentioned in this particular segment. Don't worry, she coming. Cynthia says that she feels that her and NeNe can eventually repair their friendship and they can get past this. And Eva's just like, why would you want to or why? So they're going back and forth, looking at houses and talking about NeNe. Next scene, we see Miss Tanya, and who seems to be a friend of the show right now, and Miss Portia. So Tanya went from being the good friend. No, she went from being NeNe's friend to Eva's good friend, and now she is Portia's friend. So I thought that was funny. Portia is venting to Tanya about Dennis. Tanya's concerned. She asks how she's doing and how everything is going. And Portia is going through her phone, sharing memories and trying to put 2 and 2 together to figure out when the heck did Dennis have time to cheat. Newsflash, girl, they will always make time. Okay. So apparently during Dennis and Portia's therapy session, it seems as if Dennis was trying to put the blame on Portia for him being unfaithful, which is ridiculous. He was just saying that she didn't make time for him or some excuse that he gave. So that's why she was going through her phone and showing Tanya, you were with me at this doctor's appointment and I don't understand, and yada, yada, yada. And Portia, she asked Tanya if she talked to NeNe. So again, NeNe's name is being mentioned in just about every scene. So this is what I want to say. I don't want to see Portia crying anymore. I know that sounds so like selfish and ridiculous, but I want Portia to get back into the happy. And it seems like this is going to be going on for a couple of episodes. I just feel like, in a sense, what you kind of signed up for. Like, let's just keep it real. Like, we know, like, Oprah talks about that whisper. You hear that whisper. Kandi did try to tell you a little bit about Dennis. Dennis had a whole bunch of women's names tattooed all over him. And remember at the reunion, Portia says she licks all of them. She doesn't care about that. So, there were certain signs that you chose to overlook. And I'm not saying that you deserve to be mistreated, but come on, girl, all right, enough of the crying already. Again, Kandi tried to warn her, so I can understand her and Kandi not being in such a great place. She didn't want to hear anything from Kandi, but I'm pretty sure Kandi wasn't the only one that tried to warn you about Dennis. But sometimes we just have to find out for ourselves. I get it. And again, hopefully this will be the last episode of Portia crying about Dennis, but I don't think it will, because we all know that they're back together. Moving along, Kenya and her cousin Shay. So cousin Shay comes by, and baby Brooklyn is in her high chair eating chocolate chips and like pieces of chocolate chunks from a chocolate chip cookie. Okay, I guess that's safe. And Shay goes to reach for baby Brooklyn to try to take her out of the high chair without removing the table first. And, Kenya comes over. Kenya's like, no, don't take her out like that. Like, that's not how you do it. And it seems as if not only is Kenya a new mother, so she's kind of overprotective, but it seems that she's very overwhelmed because of what is going on or what's not going on with her and Marc. I think that's his name, right? So, Kenya comes over. She removes the table from the high chair, and Shay proceeds to pick up baby Brooklyn. Do you guys notice that just about every time baby Brooklyn is picked up, she kicks her little feet? Oh my God, I just think that that's so cute. She's so adorable. So Kenya, she's pretty much upset because Marc is focusing more on the baby. As opposed to Kenya, she's missing that spark in her relationship, and she's telling Shay, she wants him to really consider opening up a restaurant in Atlanta because he's in New York, yada yada, same old stuff that we heard her say over and over again. So Kenya she's coming across as a little bit left out. I say envious, but whatever. She's a new mother, so she feels left out. She wants the romance back in her marriage. The baby sleeps in the bed with them when Marc is there in Atlanta. So I don't know. I just feel like you and Marc don't know each other. Like, let's just keep it real, right? Can we keep it real on this review? Like, you and Marc don't know each other. There wasn't much time that passed between you meeting him, you dating him, and you marrying him. So it's like, I don't know. Whatever. And the whole jealousy thing, I don't really like the direction that that's going. I mean, at the time, I think baby Brooklyn was like, 7 months or something like that. It's like, girl, it's not about you. It's all about the baby. And I get it. You may be missing your man, but don't try to use baby Brooklyn as an excuse. Before you even had the baby, you guys were separate. So I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it, y'all, but I don't really like the direction that's going. NeNe and Greg. NeNe, you see NeNe getting her makeup done. She has hair and makeup in the house because they are shooting an infomercial for the American Cancer Society because NeNe has been appointed an ambassador. I guess I don't know if it's her and Greg or if it's just her. But anyway, so she's getting her makeup done, and then, Greg makes his way down the stairs, and Greg looks great. They were playing, I don't know what song it was that they were playing, but it was some kind of like rap song, like real boss type. And I was like, okay, so that was giving me a good vibe. Greg looks amazing. I'm so glad that he has, won the battle with cancer. Everyone is not so lucky. And he looks good. He's in good spirits, and that's good to see. So they're filming the infomercial because they're talking about NeNe's experience as a caregiver to her husband while Greg was going through chemo. And yeah, so you can see NeNe, she's like, trying to put on a happy face. But prior to that, her and Greg were talking, and NeNe was talking about having, she hadn't been in contact with the other girls. She said that she tried to reach out to Cynthia. Then they panned to Cynthia in her confessional where she kind of sent Cynthia, she sent Cynthia like a nasty message, like saying, oh, you're so wrong. You think you're right, or whatever it is. So Cynthia deleted the message and pretty much blocked NeNe. So NeNe is just, flabbergasted that, she reached out and Cynthia did not respond to her. Greg is telling her, right? Greg is telling her, you need to own up to your part in this whole thing. Just come clean, own up to it, and then try to see if you can move past it. And yeah, I think that's the right thing to do. Now, let me say this about that text message, right? How do we know that that is the text message that NeNe is referring to that she sent Cynthia? Because when Cynthia was reading it, it seemed like that would have been a text message that NeNe would have sent right when they started beefing from last season, right? I'm sure we will find out at the reunion. I'm certainly sure. I don't know. I'm not trying to take up for NeNe. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to like defend NeNe, but I don't know, man. Cynthia gives me a real sneaky vibe for some reason. She always has. Anyway, so again, they're shooting the commercial, and earlier you could see NeNe fighting back tears while she's getting her makeup done, and she said something. She said, you know, I don't want to cry because then people are going to say it's all about me. And you know, I want to hold off what I want to say about the backlash that NeNe was getting when she was really going through a lot. You know, her and Greg were going through a lot when Greg was going through chemo. I'm gonna save that to the end because I want to move this on. Let's see. Kandi and Todd. Kandi and Todd, they're at a restaurant. They're discussing the surrogacy. They call the surrogate. And Todd is just saying, oh, you don't know how to be, you don't know anything about this surrogacy thing, yada, yada. They're going back and forth. Kandi expressed that she does not like the fact that Todd took his daughter to the strip club. He's okay with it. He said, that's my baby. That's my daughter. You know, Kandi is just real adamant about the fact that Todd is not going to basically be bossing her around as it pertains to this new child that they will be having together. So as far as Todd taking his daughter to the strip club, at this point, his kid, he can do whatever he wants. Moving along. So we see Cynthia and Mike. Cynthia is getting her garments ready to go to New York Pride. She FaceTimes with him. Noel is going to the parade. So he's just wishing her well. He brings up NeNe. He asks if you talk to NeNe. She says, no, you know, but I will see her there. So that was, you know, he was being supportive. That really wasn't much in that scene. Now, Kenya and Marc. So we see Kenya in the kitchen. She's like pulling out the skillet or what have you, and she's trying to like scramble because she wants to hurry up and make breakfast. You see Marc comes out with baby Brooklyn in hand. And so this is the first time that we see him for the season, okay? And I don't know what I was expecting, but based on that last phone call that they had, that FaceTime, yeah, he kept that same energy. You know, he wasn't faking anything. He kind of kept that same energy. So Kenya, again, she doesn't like the fact that Marc is making Brooklyn his #1 priority, which again, that seems a little bit twisted to me. So Kenya's like, oh my God, we don't have any eggs. And he's like, oh, you don't have eggs. And Kenya's just trying to like, I guess, play this role of housewife, you know, pretty housewife. And she's like, she's laughing everything off. And it's a nervous and uncomfortable laugh. It was real cringy to watch. She whips up some pancakes and some turkey bacon, I guess. And he, you know, insults her fridge and says, you know, your fridge is like a college dorm room or something like that. You know, just being real immature and real childish. She talks to Marc about moving a restaurant or opening up a restaurant in Atlanta. And while she's making breakfast, she says, you know, Todd can take you to a few places and show you a few areas. He's ignoring her. He's playing with the baby. And, you know, he heard what she said. So he's intentionally ignoring her, real childish. And she's like, huh? And he's like, what is she over there talking about? And he's playing with the baby saying, oh yeah, show me that smile, you know. And this was pathetic. Like, this was absolutely pathetic. One, Kenya just seems so desperate to convince herself that she is in this happy marriage and she has this happy family. And girl, it's not working. And two, Marc is immature. He's not interested. And he's just like, why did you get married? Like, why did you marry her? Kenya, why did you marry him? If you knew you were going to treat her like this, why bother get married? But again, this is just on the surface. This is just what they're showing us. We don't know everything. So Kenya says that she wants a nanny because she wants to go away for Marc's birthday. Marc is like, we're not bringing Brooklyn with us. You know, like he wants to bring Brooklyn on his birthday trip. Now, Kenya, how is it that you want to hire a nanny and you just like overprotective? You didn't even really want Shay holding your baby two tufts, but you are willing to hire a nanny to watch your baby? You better take that baby with you on that trip. I don't know. So Kenya basically continues to say, like, who's your number one? And again, she's showing her jealousy. See, these things we have to pay attention to. Pay attention to these signs. Because again, I don't like that at all. Like, there are a lot of mothers who are jealous of their daughters, like from the time they were born up until their daughters grow into young ladies. And it never really works out. Like, it just gets really ugly. I don't like that. Like, I really don't like the fact that she's continuing to repeat over and over again, who's your number one? Who's your number one? You know, I don't feel like the girlfriend anymore. Like, we should start dating again. And, you know, just stop saying, why is Brooklyn your priority? Like, stop saying that, Kenya. I get how you feel, but still, like, saying it's just making me cringe a little bit because I don't know. We don't know, you know. Anyway. So now we move on to NeNe. So she's getting makeup done for the parade, and I don't know what's going on, but she's getting done up. So Captain Marlowe, she strolls in, you know, Captain Marlowe from the Love Boat, and she's pretty much telling NeNe, you know, you look beautiful, you know, have you gotten in contact with the girls? Have you seen the girls? Okay, this is how you should act. This is what you should say, you know, just really like going hard, I guess, you know, trying to keep the peace, but going hard. And I'm wondering if her conversation with Kandi in the second episode, when they were at the bouncy house, if that had anything to do with her trying to kind of coach NeNe on how to behave when she sees the rest of the ladies. But it was actually getting on NeNe's nerves. NeNe says she has a spiritual advisor that told her to take a couple of deep breaths, and she said she's good. You know, NeNe likes to kind of brush things off, you know, when she gets a little bit uncomfortable. Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I guess if you keep telling yourself you're good, eventually you will be. But she starts to get irritated with Marlowe. So she's just all in a spiritual high place, and she's just not trying to hear what Marlowe has to say. So she's kind of on the defense. So now we move on to Eva. Eva's in her room getting ready. She gets a text from Cynthia, and it is a video of NeNe doing an interview, pretty much saying in a nutshell, the interviewer asked NeNe about Cynthia. So Cynthia is just like, you know, she comes across as very desperate, and Cynthia will go any which way the wind blows. And Eva is standing there like, oh my God, like her reaction. Again, when did Eva and Cynthia become so close? Like, I don't know. So Cynthia's interviews, Bravo is real shady. Bravo played like several of Cynthia's interviews when she was on Kandi's platform, because you know Kandi has a YouTube channel from last year, when she was on Watch What Happens Live, when she did like other things in the press. So I thought that was funny. And I do remember seeing Cynthia on Kandi's, whatever it is, Let's Talk About It or Speak on It, last year, right after, I think it was the second part of the reunion. And Cynthia was being real, she was getting her digs in, and Kandi was just laughing. Kandi wasn't really saying anything. Kandi was laughing though. Cynthia says that NeNe's wig is desperate because at this point Eva's in Cynthia's room and they're watching the interview together, and she's rewatching it, and she says that NeNe's wig is desperate. And then NeNe did a confessional and said, you know, Cynthia has done 7 interviews, and I thought that was so funny that she counted. And I guess she felt justified in just going off on Cynthia. And again, we don't know how old this interview is. This could have been an interview from last season, right after all of the stuff, you know, happened with the ladies. So, and this, when she said that NeNe's wig was desperate and she got mad, just earlier in the episode, you said that this could be worked out, Cynthia. So what's up? I don't know if it's the editing or what, but anyway. So they're at the parade and they're all on the float. And then, you know, you see NeNe talking to Andy. You see a couple of the other housewives from the different franchises. You saw Reza, who is on Shots of Sunset. And if you guys watch that show, put it in the comments. I love that show. I watched that show from season 1. And I don't know what's up. When is it coming back? Anyway, so Reza was asking for NeNe. And we see NeNe show up, and you hear Andy and his messy self saying, oh, you're going to be mad at me. And NeNe's like, why? And he's like, because we're playing tardy for the party. And then you hear NeNe say, Kim and I are good. Really? I wonder if that will be a surprise in the season. But anyway, and then NeNe takes it upon herself to go over to the other side of the float where Cynthia is. So you see NeNe like, hi, you know, she's putting on, hi. She goes up and then you see her, she's right there like by Cynthia. So you don't know if she's going to say hi or try to give her a hug. And then the episode ends. So I was like, you know what, that was kind of whack. Like, at least I wanted to see them interact. So, but that's good. It's a cliffhanger. So we'll be back for episode 4. But what I did want to touch on real quick is I remember last season when NeNe was getting a lot of flack, still getting a lot of flack in reference to her being Greg's caretaker. And everybody was saying that, you know, NeNe's making it about her. Let me tell y'all something. And I defended her as far as that goes. Yeah. So here's the thing. If you've ever taken care of someone who is terminally ill, not just as a profession. If you work in healthcare, sometimes you can become a little bit desensitized to that. I have family that works in healthcare, and yes, it's unfortunate when you see, you know, your patients that you grow close to, they have a terminal illness and they pass away. But it's very different when it is a spouse or an immediate family member. And the reason why I'm saying something about it, and I said something about it before last season during the reunion, because it did tick me off, because I'm speaking from personal experience. I myself took care of one of my immediate family members. I was the caretaker for a family member, immediate, who did not win the battle with cancer. Okay? So until you are there and you watch your loved one go through hell and back, pain, unable to feed themselves, unable to do anything for themselves, anything, the things that we kind of like maybe take for granted, you know, getting up, going to the bathroom, when someone has to wipe you, bathe you, feed you, watch you groan in pain. These are all the things that I had to experience, and I couldn't do anything to take the pain away. And I'm just thinking, doing all of that, plus NeNe was still working. She had to be on the road. She had to bring home the bread. She had to put on a happy face because she's in the public eye. And all while not knowing if her spouse is going to live long enough for her to see him when she gets back. Not knowing if her spouse is going to wake up the next day. Not being able to take away the pain. And yes, Greg himself went through hell and back too. But NeNe, like, she needed help. You know what I mean? She really needed help. And I feel like everybody processes pain differently. I don't lash out. I'm not like a freak out type person, even when faced with like hardships like that. But I'm telling you, I empathize with NeNe wholeheartedly, because I don't know if I could do like working and being out in the public and having to make money. You know, I had a household of my own to tend to. I chose to take on the role as caregiver to my immediate family member. And, you know, like I said, Greg, he won his battle with cancer. My family member did not. And it's crazy because everything didn't hit me until 2 days after my family member was buried. After the funeral, I was home. Everybody, family members, went back to their respective states, and I sat in my room by myself. I was home by myself. Kids off to school. Everybody's gone to work. Everybody's gone back to their state. And then it dawned on me, oh my God, those were the last moments that I spent with that family member. Because when you're in it, you're just worrying about being there for them. And when someone is terminally ill, you can expect a range of emotions. They are trying to come to terms with the fact that they may die. And I sat in the doctor's office when prognoses, if that's the word, were given, when this cancer treatment didn't work, when this radiation treatment didn't work. I was in the hospital when this surgery had to happen. And the final time that I was in the hospital, in the doctor's office with the family member when the doctor said there's nothing else we can do. I was there. So let me tell you something. People who like to say NeNe was making it about her, she was terrified. And if you have never been a caregiver of someone who was terminally ill, I'm talking about full-time hands-on caregiver, okay? I think that it's like extremely insensitive. This is not to excuse any of her past behaviors or her past indiscretions. It has nothing to do with that. I'm just isolating this situation. And I don't think that NeNe was trying to make it about her. I think that people were so accustomed to her being the strong one or the shady one or the one who would stir up drama that she herself didn't even know how to really break down and be vulnerable in front of these same people that she has offended. But that woman needed help. Like when she says, be here for me, I'm going through something. And then Marlo said, Greg is going through it much worse. Like, I don't think people understand being in that position can take you. And again, I'm not taking anything away from Greg, but Greg was dependent on her to be strong when she was scared out of her mind and had to leave and still go to work. And like she said, if I don't work, bills are not going to get paid. So I can imagine what NeNe was going through, because like I said, I've been there. The sad part of it all is, unfortunately, my family member lost their battle with cancer, and I was there from the very beginning to the very end. And when I say end, not to be graphic, but I'm talking about coroner coming and zipping them up in the body bag, carrying them out of the house end. So when I saw people saying to her, oh, she's making this about her, I said to myself, my God, you know, when somebody's crying out for help, like, they get met with judgment and what they did in the past. And nope, that's what she get. She want to make it about her. And I'm telling you, and the hard part is for NeNe, I wonder if she's getting counseling. You always have to, in her situation, you always have to wonder is the cancer going to come back, and is it going to come back with a vengeance? So I just wanted to share my experience, because I could totally relate to NeNe, and I know a lot of people who were being judgmental. Honestly, I don't even care what you say in the comments. Just don't use profanity. You can go ahead and blast me for my opinion, but it's not really an opinion because it's firsthand experience. I experienced something very, very, very similar, you know, to what NeNe was going through. So I don't know. I didn't like all of that blasting her and people. She's not allowed to cry because people are going to say it's about her, and her suppressing all of that. That's not healthy. And I do hope that she is getting counseling. I hope her and Greg are getting counseling individually and together. And it makes sense why she was so cold at the reunion, because it's like, nope, I don't want to talk about nothing. You know, it can be considered juvenile, but it's like, you weren't here for me, so I don't got nothing to say. Bye, whatever. I totally understand why she was cold. I do. So I just feel like if you haven't done it, then you wouldn't understand. And I don't care what you say. So Royal Family, that wraps up this episode of Real Housewives of Atlanta, The Return of NeNe. Let me know what you think. Get down in the comments. Share your thoughts, your opinions. Be respectful as always, or else you're going to get blocked and your comment's going to get deleted. Simple as that. Royal Family, I love you for watching. Don't forget to thumbs up this video if you made it to the end and you enjoyed the commentary. Let me know what you think. What's up with Eva? Let me know what you think about NeNe. You can even share your thoughts on my personal experience, respectfully. Royal Family, as always, I love you for watching, and until next time, peace.